My name is Carla Feuerstein and I'm a sound engineer. Before lockdown, I used to work in different venues all over Glasgow, and I work with two great folk bands called Heisk and the Paul McKenna Band.
Okay. So what was your work life like before lockdown?
Pretty busy, I would say. So I would have probably been working 5-6 days a week at times, sometimes more, sometimes less, of course. Typically I would have been at St. Luke's quite a lot in the east end of Glasgow, doing all kinds of shows there, from folky things to rock gigs, corporate things like weddings or birthdays, conferences. Yeah, so I was pretty busy, and I was working obviously a lot of the time at night, and and then that all stopped.
Okay. So in your day-to-day life, could you just describe what a typical day would be like for you?
A typical day from the start of the day would probably be me getting up at 8 or so. I like to get up early, and just kind of doing some emails after breakfast, usually advancing gigs or emailing the bands. I also run a touring festival in Germany that I would have done a lot of work on, so emailing venues and advancing tours, that kind of stuff. And then around 12 or 2 p.m. I would have headed to the venue to set up, sound check, meet the bands, and do a gig at night, and then obviously pack everything back up, be in bed for 12 maybe.
So what was your social life like before lockdown?
A lot of the socialising that I did would have happened at work, really. I didn't go out a lot. Like, I didn't have the desire to go to more noisy places in my spare time, so I would have on days off, I would have probably gone round to people's houses rather than go to pubs and clubs. But yeah, I'm friendly with a lot of the people I work with, and even though maybe we didn't, hang out outside of work, those were the people that I saw like almost every day, and now I've not seen them in 6 months.
Did you know much about COVID before the lockdown? Did you hear anything about it?
Well, I did hear a little bit about the stuff that was going on in Wuhan. It was Wuhan, right? Wuhan, China. And so I did hear some stuff about COVID coming from Wuhan, but not like. It wasn't until maybe the end of February that we really that it got really serious, or that I really registered it as something that I should be worried about for my life.
So, can you describe what happened during lockdown? Lockdown point. Sorry.
During lockdown, my life got really, really slow and quiet, is what I would describe it at. All of the work stopped for me, like for everybody else. Like all the other people, I was basically housebound. Would go out, once a day for exercise, and it was really difficult at first not seeing anyone. That really made me realize like how sociable my job is, like how used I am to being surrounded by people all the time, and then that went from being at work with maybe 20-30 people like involved in the same project, to being at home alone or with my partner most of the time, and that was really difficult at first. Yeah, but I got used to that, and now I'm like, I don't really want to go back to the crowds. But we did the thing, like the Zoom quiz nights and all that, and tried to like maintain sort of a social life, but it was really tricky for someone who sees people all the time at work.
And how did you feel about that whole situation?
It was really. I felt really sad and really sort of I guess mournful. I was mourning like my old life, I guess, for a while. especially as lockdown, went on, and it became really clear that it wasn't just going to be a few weeks of no gigs, and then in the summer we're going to do our festivals again. I didn't really know what to do with myself. Like, I didn't know, should I look for a new job? Should I don't know, should I retrain? Or should I like wait and see if the gigs come back? Because no one knows. It's the uncertainty really that made it really, really difficult. I felt like I was just stuck in this sort of in limbo, really. Like, because there was no one knows what's going to happen really, and just just felt lost.
So, after the initial lockdown, when everything started to kind of open up a bit, what happened then? Did your work life change, or?
No, it had. My work life hasn't really changed all that much. I mean, it has changed in that I got a job. I work in customer service from home now, so I have a full-time job, which is very, very different from being self-employed in the music industry. So now my job requires me to be present at work for 8 hours a day, and then I don't need to think about it anymore, which is kind of weird. I have no emotional connection to my job, to the job that I do now. I like the people I work with, and the job isn't a terrible job, but it's not something that I feel passionate about. It's not something that I'm emotionally invested in, whereas gigs and tours and events, it's just something, I don't know, it just makes me feel something, and no other job can really do that, I don't think. So that's changed. I have no passion.
No passion for it. So when you're talking about how you've got this new job, are you still managing to keep is your social life still the same as it was, or has it started to go back to the way it was before lockdown, or has it changed completely?
It's still really limited my social life, I think. So while we were still allowed to go to pubs, in the sort of softer lockdown, I would have met up with people, and when we were allowed to go around to people's houses, that was really nice to just go see friends in their houses and have dinner with them. But now that's stopped again. All the socializing I do at the moment is with my partner at home or on Zoom, and I guess with my new job, we work with Microsoft Teams like so many other companies do, and we have our team huddles and our morning meetings, but it's not the same. It's a far cry from like the friendship and the sort of camaraderie that we used to have at gigs. Because I don't know, when you work a festival for maybe 5 days or a weekend, the people you work with, they just become like your little family for the weekend, and you look out for their well-being like they do for yours. You help. It's just such a close bond that you have with people at work. You don't get that in customer service.
So obviously the lockdowns changed, the government support's changed again, and there's future lockdowns. What are you hoping is going to happen in the future for your events style jobs?
I'm just hoping the gigs come back. I'm hoping that we get to do shows again, but I also hope that these 6 months were a wake-up call for people, and I think venues, promoters, everyone should have used this time to maybe rethink some of the processes they had in place in their venues. And I would love to go back to gigs, but better and improved gigs. That would be good, because as much as I love working in live music, there are a lot of things that could be improved upon, and then I would hope that this break gave people time to think about some of that.